So this is the introduction set of slides for Effective Project Management, Traditional, Agile, Extreme and Hybrid by Wysocki. And it's just an overview of the course, the content of the textbook, and I just thought it'd be useful to go through what we're going to cover at a high level. So, introduction, program overview, program objectives, learning objectives, format, materials, what do I expect of you, what's the course outline, and maybe we can have a class exercise which I want you to think about before you get to class, and we'll talk about what your interesting topics are. And then we'll also introduce the case study. So the learning objectives are to have a working knowledge of effective project management, understand the impact of uncertainty and complexity in project management, understand the different PMLCs, project management life cycles, that described by the words there: linear, incremental, iterative, adaptive, and extreme. Know how to choose which model best fits the project that you're embarking on based on project characteristics. Adapt to the best fit, and we'll also adapt this stuff to a case study. We're aiming to be a little bit adaptive in this course. I'm certainly willing to change the agenda based on what you want. It's going to be interactive. You're going to have to look at videos before class and then in class talk about them. And what I'll probably do is get individuals to give a précis, a summary of that week's video lectures. And we're going to talk about, as I said, it's going to be discussion based, and we're going to try and make it practice oriented. So we have a case study that I'm going to be using throughout the course, and we'll aim to use that to actually do some of the things that the textbook is suggesting. So I'm working on the 8th edition, but as I think I said in the first video, the 6th, 7th or 8th editions are all fine. You should get the copies of the Wysocki slides. This is the first one, but you should also get all the others from that I put together for specific reasons for each lecture. Have a look at those. They all should be available in Blackboard. So what's expected of you? Be on time. If you walk in late, apologise. Be actively involved. Once we form our teams, be committed to your team members and delivering whatever you've promised you're going to deliver. Try not to have any side conversations unless that's part of the discussion format that I use. Please turn off your phones, at least the noises they make. It's not useful for anybody except maybe you. And I'm hoping we're going to have a bit of fun in this course. I've changed it up a little bit from the way I presented it before, and we're going to have a few more exercises. I'm going to move the bulk of the lecture material to videos, I hope, and we'll do more of a discussion and exercise-based approach to project management, learning project management. So, course outline, part 1. What's the landscape? What is a project? What is project management? If you've got a project, how do you manage it? What is that? What are the process groups? Now, a process is like an algorithm or a sequence of steps, and there are several different groups of these that allow us to execute projects and to do project management. We're going to talk about traditional project management next. That's what some people in software might call the waterfall model. How to scope it, plan it, launch it, monitor and control it, and then close it out. TPM stands for traditional project management. Traditional project management. We're going to talk a little bit about what happens when things get more complicated. Uncertainty is the lifeblood of a project manager, but there are different levels of uncertainty and there are different ways to deal with different uncertainties. So that's what chapters 9, 10, 11 and 12 are about. But then we're going to talk a little bit about managing the realities, so prevention and intervention strategies. How do you work with multiple team projects where there's lots and lots of people involved in a project? How do you work with a project support office? How do you establish a project support office? How do you get it to work with the projects that it's supposed to help? And then, as related to the CMMI way of doing things, we're interested in continuous process improvement. So how do we do that? How do we manage that process improvement? And then finally we're going to talk about, well, what happens in a big company and you've got lots of projects, lots of project managers. How do we work in that big corporate environment, that enterprise level environment? So here's some of the things about current project environments. They're high speed, they change quickly, particularly in software. Projects change rapidly. They need to be lower cost because there's lots of software involved. That tends to increase the levels of complexity. Particularly in a startup environment, there's a lot more uncertainty about what you have to do in order to execute a project. And then there's lots of challenges, the flexibility and adaptability. You need to understand the business that you're involved with. You need to take charge of the project in its management, and you need to really have a bit of common sense, which is what project management is about. But sometimes common sense isn't that common. So think about your hot topic list. What do you want to hear discussed in class? Do you want to talk more about agile and traditional project management? Do you want to talk more about metrics in project management? Do you want to talk more about process improvement? Do you want to talk more about CMMI, the Capability Maturity Model Integrator that the Software Engineering Institute suggests we use? Anyway, think about it, and let's talk about it in the first lecture. So we're going to be using a case study, and I've used this case study a couple of times now, and it actually works out pretty well. And please, this is up in the additional notes in Blackboard, so find the Pizza Delivered Quickly case study and read the document, take any notes of what questions you have, and let's discuss it during the class. Basically, the PDQ, Pizza Delivered Quickly, is a company that has lost 30% of its revenue due to competition. And they have identified these 6 pieces of software that they think can improve their financial situation, their business situation. First thing is a pizza factory locator. That's a separate piece of work. They want to know where are the best places to build new pizza places, given their target market, given the geography, given the population. Where should they build them? So that's a separate piece. The next piece is an order entry. This is for the either the people in their call center or direct to consumer, allowing people to enter the order for the pizzas. Then there's a logistics thing, given where the person is who's ordering the pizza, given the type of pizza, given the stock that all the pizza factories and restaurants have, who's the best person to make the pizza. Then the information about the pizza gets submitted. That's the order submit. Then two things happen. The inventory information is updated, so we check to see whether we need to order any new pepperoni or more mozzarella cheese or what have you. And the other thing that happens is once the pizza is ready, we have to figure out how to get it to the customer. Are they picking it up at the restaurant? Are they expecting it to be delivered? Who's going to deliver it? Are our pizza trucks going to deliver it, or just our delivery guys? Who's going to do it? And anyway, there's more detail in the document in Blackboard. Have a read through that.